Well, good morning, everybody, from Salem, Oregon, which is where I am this morning. And I started off today with a satellite image from last night as the sun was setting, because so much of the Columbia Basin and parts of Oregon leading up to the Blue Mountains were just trapped in a pretty deep fog yesterday. There continues to be that today, but a lot of attention across the country was kind of being paid to a low that was coming out of Texas and Oklahoma, heading toward the Ohio Valley. And then the deep cold that's going to be following this particular low and the new blocked pattern that we're fully into. So if I just play this through the overnight hours, that's all infrared imagery there. And you can actually see some of the bigger storms that kind of lined out right here last night. And well, where we end up this morning as the sun's rising here is this particular image. And we can actually start to see where the low is now moving into the Ohio River Valley and the large kind of head of this cyclone here delivering quite a bit of snow in and around the Great Lakes states. And speaking of snow, I did want to zoom in right here in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas and show you this is some of the snow on the ground. We can see it from satellite here. See the clouds are moving, but the snow is not. And I love these maps because they just kind of trace out the landmarks like the rivers and things like that. So you can see where some of that snow was. Total snowfall over the last 72 hours is kind of shown here. And let's just blow this up a little bit. There we go. And we can see that there were a couple of places that picked up quite a bit of heavy snow coming out of the panhandles and then parts of Oklahoma here. A few places saw some huge snowflakes. I saw some videos of some silver dollar snowflakes in parts of Oklahoma. And that's just slowly spread east. On the northern side of it, we've already picked up some light snow in parts of Montana and Wisconsin, Minnesota and Wisconsin. I was looking at Montana because I'll be there tomorrow and we're expecting more snow in this area. But one of the big things we're going to talk about in this forecast is the depth of the cold and what it might be doing to produce a lot of lake effect snow and where this system is going to be going after it passes through the Ohio River Valley today. Because you can see here that through the northeast, we have winter weather advisories stretching along the Appalachian Mountains, clear to a winter storm watch in parts of Maine, freeze warning out for the coast, but behind it, still winter weather advisories here. So we got two things, the low moving in this direction and an Arctic front pushing it behind it. And again, here's all that fog over in parts of the Pacific Northwest. And not to be ignored here, we do see some very strong winds still in parts of Southern California, and the high wind warnings and advisories are still out for that area. So let's go right to the high-res NAM model. Let's get this out here at about 8 o'clock this morning, Central Time. Let's see where this low is going to move. So a lot of scattered showers and rain. Some of this is locally heavy, moving through Kentucky, Tennessee, onto the Appalachian Mountains and down through the southeast, where we could see some storms out of this today. We'll see a lot of light snow on the back side of this. There could be a few convective bursts. These are these really heavy snowfall events that kind of sit inside these deeper trough features. But you can now see the heaviest snow moving through parts of Pennsylvania, going into New York. And we're just, again, going to watch out for the potential for some ice right in through here from this. But heavy rain moves through the mid-Atlantic while snow's on the back side. And by the time we get out to early tomorrow morning, that low is going to try to clear the coast. Now on the backside, we're going to see quite a bit of cold air coming in with this. And again, expect to see some more snow showers, some convective bursts of snow, and some strong lake effect snow bands. And you can see behind it, this is the Arctic front that's pushing down Wednesday night to Thursday morning, coming out of the Canadian prairie and moving into the northern plains of the United States. Now, by midday Thursday, very strong northerly winds in this area. And again, snow showers are possible. The lake effect snow machine is setting up. And this is when we fully move into this block pattern we've been talking about. It's kind of interesting. Yesterday, I was doing an event in Spokane, and someone pointed out to me that this looks like some sort of like sinister face, these two big ridges, and then there's a really ugly smile to the south of it. But what I'm seeing here is that this cross-polar block is now fully set up. We're in about day 3 of this pattern responding to this. We still have at least another 7+ days to go with this blocking pattern that we've got here. So what that ends up giving us is this. We have one system moving out. So we've already seen this system here moving through New England by the time we get into Wednesday night. Again, some potentially heavy snow here. But after that, the Arctic high slides down Wednesday night to Thursday. And we're going to get through the end of this week and into early next week with not a whole lot of new systems, just a big area of high pressure sitting here, and a lot of lake effect snow. Again, we're watching for some potential pattern changes taking place as we get out there into the week of Thanksgiving. And it's going to start in the northwest. This is where the jet stream could push through that big block maybe by next Tuesday and start to deliver better moisture into the northwest. And so we're going to have to watch this very carefully next week as the pattern adjusts. The trade winds resurge kind of in the tropical Pacific again, helping to line out to make a more zonal jet stream pattern in the Pacific Northwest. Now, the models have been hinting at something, and I'm just going to address it here, but let you know I have very low confidence in what's going to happen. but the model's been hinting about a storm system developing maybe on Wednesday night. This is the day before Thanksgiving, coming out of the Gulf Coast into Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. And this would be reflective of the overall pattern change. You see, if you bring the flow in like this, and the ridge that was sitting here starts to move off to the east, you do get return flow around it. And if the jet stream comes over the top of the mountains and ejects, well, we do expect a low to form here. This is just a single model run, but you see that this system is possibly coming out of this region, coming up into the Ohio River Valley here on Thanksgiving. So just something I want to be aware of. Now, before we get to all of that, we do have some snow to be talking about. And this is the European model's forecast of total snowfall. Let's just play this out 5 days to kind of get a good idea about this. Again, we saw the snow last night, and we're expecting more of it around the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes states here. And again, we're going to watch for some lighter snow in that 1 to 3 inch range spread across parts of Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois, and then a little bit farther to the east. The same system can deliver quite a bit of heavy snow in parts of New England and the Northeast here as it pulls through. But remember, there'll be some ice on the south side of this. But it'll be the lake effect snow that follows this that's going to be quite impressive. I grabbed a 10-day snowfall map. I just want to point out we'll get what are called wind parallel bands coming across Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, and Lake Ontario. But you end up getting shore parallel bands like this across Ontario and Erie, And therefore, on the tips of these lakes, we could be looking at snowfall totals that could get over that 1 to 2 foot mark. So pretty heavy lake effect snow. The lakes are very warm right now, so this will be a conducive environment for it. But what we're watching is this. The flow coming right now does this, breaks up into a huge ridge, and then dives across the country. I'm watching for this to punch through. And the latest European model forecast, and this echoes what the GFS is saying, is that by early next week, we will have gotten rid of that ridge, putting it about a 10-day time period that it's been around, and then we're going to punch right through it. And the jet stream seems to want to break up into several smaller waves. And that's more indicative of a more open and active and moving pattern. I don't see the model picking up on any major ridge redevelopment at this time into, for example, Alaska. So when you look at the week 1 forecast, we're still in that blocked flow, but the week 2 starts to open things up. So the flow is going to come into the northwest, and we're just going to have to watch for systems that might emerge like this on the Rocky Mountains, or maybe even a bit farther to the north as well. The details are just not resolved yet, so we're going to have to wait to see how that all flushes out. But the idea here is that the pattern's going to go back over active to finish this month of November and start December. The temperatures are going to respond as well, but it's going to be a while here. This is this morning's lows. Let's get into Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, big Arctic pushes beginning on Thursday, and then here's Friday morning's lows. So I've got the 32-degree isotherm getting all the way to the East Coast, down into southern Georgia, almost to the Gulf Coast down here, and then through parts of central and southern Texas. While we see overnight lows in the, the -1 to -5 range in parts of the western and northern plains. Now that cold air is going to stick around through the weekend, but we do expect some moderation to begin early next week. And if you look out there, day 5 through 10, this is November 20 through the 24th, see the cooler air moving east, and then at the beginning of that 4th week of November, really starting after Thanksgiving, we're expecting some moderation. And that's because the flow comes in like this, could get some southeast ridging here. It just opens things back up to a bit more warmth. Now, it's late November warmth, so I want to make sure I'm clear here that we're not going back into the 70s and 80s, but it's going to be more mild than normal. Okay, also, if you get a chance to read the report, we kind of talk again about the new outlook for November 25th to December 25th from the European model and what it means. I also cover in the report the latest long-range outlook for South America, which again, the models doubled down on the drought risks in parts of southern Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina. Remember, there was better rains recorded yesterday that hit some of the key areas in Buenos Aires, Cordoba, Santa Fe, along the Paraná River and places. That half-inch to inch range is what we did see. But right now, the best rains in the longer term look north, where the crop went in very quickly and is expected to be starting a harvest in December and lasting through January and early February. Soybean crop could be large because of this rain. The risks are farther to the south. And the big article that I kind of include in today's report is all about how to understand what a fade of this La Nina might look like. It's strong now. The trade winds are really going. But what I discuss is what to look out for when they start to back off, which I think will be at the very beginning of the new year, maybe even showing up a bit earlier than that. Just remember, the ocean temperatures respond last. So it may look like a La Nina in the ocean temperatures, but the atmosphere may have let go of that La Nina-like behavior. And that's what I'm going to be discussing in today's report. So I hope you get a chance to read it. Have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you again on Wednesday morning. Thanks.